Welcome to Mind Your Business, the channel where we are in everybody's business. If you don't mind getting in people's business, you're on the right channel. Talking about current topics and gossip. Hello, my nosy people. Wagwan. So I am back to speak about the Love and Marriage Huntsville reunion part 2, which was very interesting and entertaining indeed. Carlos, like I said, I like that he's hosting the show and he is really asking the questions you want to know. So of course it left off with Martell in some prolonged silence as to, whether he would have married the other lady, had his side chick, if he met her first. So what's all the long awkward silence for? Even Marcel was like, no. He tried to answer for him, and to the point when Melody was like, your friend's trying to answer for you kind of thing. And so he decided not to answer the question, to be a complete arse. So I just thought, you didn't have to do that to your wife she's your ex-wife now, but come on now, you were married for years, you have 4 lovely children, and you're going to sit there and just hold the silence, yeah? Okay, whatever. Just going back to the awkward silence part, you can look around and see everyone's faces, all just like, come on, Martell, say the right thing. You could just see it on their faces, like, this man's taking long. Is he going to answer this question properly? What is he doing? Even Marcel is jumping in for you, dude, and you're still messed it up. Well, Mel did say that she thought that Martell couldn't leave both of them alone, and Carlos also asked the question whether, he was in love with 2 women, which to me, clearly, he was, and that's why they're where they are now. I like that Melody clarified that, she was not okay with him cheating and, certain behaviours that happened before that she wasn't okay with, but she was just trying to obviously work through the marriage. But clearly he made his decision. But you can see by looking at his face, to me, he just looks quite guilty and a little bit ashamed of what he's done as well, which he should do. But at the same time, he also has this sort of arrogance about him. It's just confusing. Now, what I did find interesting was the bit where Martell and Marcel was talking about meeting the other lady. So Maurice tried to say he has never met the other lady, the side chick. But Marcel, he admitted to it. So Marcel, he admitted to being there and meeting the lady, and obviously trying to say that he wasn't encouraging Martell. Now, I thought it was interesting when Kimmy piped up to say that really Marcel should have just left and, basically being there is like you're being complicit. And then when Carlos asked Maurice the question, he said that he basically wouldn't have left. But at the same time, he said that he'd never met her. But then when they showed the scene backstage where it's just Kimmy and him in the dressing room, he admits that, yes, he had been around there. Of course, Tisha, and they show Tisha and Marcel talking in their dressing room. And Tisha picks up on that and says to her husband, like, Maurice was there. I remember him going on that trip. Why is he saying he's not there? He wasn't there. So I'm like, why did you do that for real? Like, why did you just lie? I don't get that, Maurice. What's that about? I'm not usually side-eyeing you. I like you and Kimmy, but didn't like that move there. Very questionable. I like that Marcel said that he was telling Martell. I like that Marcel said that he was telling Martell that, this ain't it. It's not really about this other chick. And of course, Tisha was trying to understand what he means. Like, what do you mean by that? And I like when Melody said, well, different between a Rolls Royce and a Honda. But then why is Martell piped up to say they went to the same university? So you could tell that he has got feelings for this woman. But I'm sorry, I agree with Melody. Even though she's ex-wife, he shouldn't really be doing that. But he's going to do that now because obviously he's got a kid with this, he's got a child with this side chick. But clearly he's not with the side chick. So what was all this all about? You're seeing other women and you're still looking like you're pining after your family. Mix up. It's funny how men think, though, when Maurice is talking about, he wouldn't leave because he has influence. Sounds like a good argument. But I can also see Kimmy's point of view, which is actually it's like you're complicit. Like, I wouldn't want to know that a mutual friend of mine is hanging around with my dude who is then cheating on me. Like, what the hell? No. I agree with Kimmy. Yes, take yourself out of the situation so you're not in that loop because it's an uncomfortable situation to be in. Why would you? But obviously, this is their bro code that is, to me, being displayed here. I do like the little intermission with the lunch break and they kept the cameras rolling. I thought that was cool because obviously they captured a bit. You can see Melody was quite pissed off, but I felt like she handled herself really well. So during the second segment, we have Destiny joining on the stage. And of course, they show her highlights. And then, of course, the question about LeBerick comes up because we know her, has come onto the show, has been a newlywed. And then fast forward, she's had the baby. She talks about him not being really there, seemed like he checked out, not helping out enough with the baby when he was like a newborn. And then we find out that he then files for divorce just after she had the baby. Like, obviously there's big issues that they were dealing with. She didn't really go into it apart from obviously the fact that he seemed like he wasn't participating in being a father in the house. And but they seem like they're getting on now is what she kind of alluded to. But I feel like she didn't really want to go into much detail because maybe she's trying to protect her child. And, didn't want to just divulge everything. But she didn't mention anything about cheating. She just said that, obviously they had issues. They also showed when it comes to Destiny and LeBerick's marital issues was a big sticking point for him was the fact that she didn't want to take his last name, or maybe she wanted to hyphenate it, but he wanted her to fully take it. She wants to keep her last name because of the death of her brother and wants to remain connected to the family. So it seemed like it was a big sticking point, and I thought that was interesting that came up as a conversation, and the guys on the stage were saying how important it was for them. But I kind of it's interesting to me because it's like it's a name, is it that important? But they talk about the legacy and the importance of that. So I can understand that, but I wouldn't have liked to have thought that's why they got divorced. But I'm sure there was more to it than just a name. And speaking on that, they show a segment, they show a clip of Martell and Destiny in the shop, and him saying that basically because she's got too much mouth is why she's probably divorced him, which is why he divorced Melody. What are you talking about? Okay, well, you cannot deal with a strong woman. I don't think that these women necessarily are just mouthy. I feel like they will just call you out on your crap. That's the difference. And sometimes you guys can't take that. The real men can. But obviously you, Martell, had an issue with that. But most of the time it seemed like Melody was calling you out on your real shit. You're cheating, things that you were actually doing. So your case and your point is completely void. And I still can't believe that, Destiny is saying that LeBerick filed for divorce 3 weeks after she gave birth to their son. Like, what in the world? What is wrong with this man? We didn't even see him on the show very much, to be fair. But, you had a relationship with him, you're saying, for like 5 years altogether. Like, how? How do you just decide you're going to walk out on your wife and your child at 3 weeks old? Like, whoo. So next up we have, of course, Tiffany and Lewis come and join them on the stage, and they show the recap of their mess and their, quote of being transparent. So, of course, they showed Tiffany being completely messy with Kimmy about Monster when she didn't even know about this whole vaping issue, bringing that up at a birthday party. Highly inappropriate, highly messy. And then, of course, you've got Maurice. They show Maurice checking them as he should. And, let them know that you don't bring up the children's situation. And then it goes to, of course, where Lewis is on the green with his missus talking about it's lucky he didn't take a shot. It's lucky he didn't take a shot because it would have been different. Like, how different would it really have been? I just think he was just really gassing there, fully gassing, and nothing would have really happened because clearly when they backed you on it on the stage, you didn't have much to say. So they showed a clip of the guys being away in Las Vegas for the so-called renewal for Marcel and Tisha, which didn't really happen, remember? Now, on that trip, there's a segment where the guys are off talking and Marcel's talking about, how Tisha doesn't have any confidence and how she used to be the most confident woman and all this stuff. And of course, Lewis is trying to give advice, but then goes back and carries the news to Tiffany. So Tiffany, of course, carries it back to the ladies and goes to tell Tisha that she's not confident and she's sure what's going on in her marriage, basically. What was funny, though, he was at the dinner table and Marcel is like saying blatantly to him that the pillow talk has to stop. Yeah, bro, has to stop. And then you've got Tiffany who pops up like about to say something to defend her husband. And then he's like, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to Lewis, okay? And I thought, yeah, that was classic Marcel, but also quite hilarious. And I like that he kind of checked him on that. But at the same time, I get that they're trying to be this happy marriage, sharing things in the marriage. But Tiffany, we really know she's just messy. You didn't have to do it in that way at all. And I just think Tiffany has just too much to say on everybody else's marriage, particularly Tisha's and Marcel. She's talking about their marriage isn't great. And it's like, you've only been around for a little bit. You might have watched them previously. Also, I mean, I can't really talk too much. I'm sitting here with my opinions, yeah, but this is my opinions. Now, she is coming on the show talking about being transparent, but you're not really being transparent, and you're just really just dissing everyone else's relationship. So I felt like they came in ruffling people's feathers in a really bad way. And hence why now you've got Marcel going at him on the stage, which to me was quite hilarious. And this must be one of the only times that I've been like, yeah, team Marcel. I did think it was really interesting that they picked up with Tiffany about, it being her first time on the show and her obviously getting a lot of social media backlash. And I didn't know that there was a petition to get off the show. I thought that was kind of funny. But I must say that obviously they're trying to deal with the whole mental health segment. So, how has it impacted her mental health? And we know it can be a very serious situation. If you sign up for a reality show, what you're kind of getting into. But they really brought out the music to go with it. Like, it was almost like, let's get the violins quickly. Let's see what Tiffany is, going to say about this. But a lot of what she's getting is because of what her mouth has said. So I feel like she has to own some of that. Social media is not easy, but you coming to the show being very messy was your choice. Sorry, I don't know why Marcel is jumping in now when, Tisha and Marcel and Tiffany and Lewis are going back and forth. Why are you jumping in? They don't need anyone jumping in. Like, at the end of the day, I think what Destiny said is quite true in the sense that they do seem rehearsed. They're not really going into their relationship like Marcel said. All they know about you is that your son had a haircut, so what else a bit shady is quite true. Like, and apparently the mother didn't know about the haircut taking place. So like he said, that's still nothing. I agreed with him there and the shade that he was throwing about that. But Tisha, I don't quite understand when you're talking about there's no meat. Like, what meat do you want? If you want to know something, you can just ask a question as well. But I do feel like they do try and put out this kind of picture perfect image, which definitely isn't really it. I feel like they probably come to the show and had a conversation about how they want to look and have tried to stick to that narrative, but obviously people can see through it. Now, I like Maurice and Kimmy. I think they're a cool couple. And I like the way Maurice kind of just told Tiffany and her husband about themselves, particularly when it comes to talking about children. I just love the way he was like, yeah, we don't do that. We don't do that here. We don't do this on this show, basically. This is not what we're about. And what can you say to that? There is no comeback to that. Just hold your corner. And I forgot to add, why was Tiffany looking confused at that? Why is she confused with Kimmy saying to her that it's basically inappropriate what she done? She looks hella confused. I don't understand. Like, does she still not get it now? And then it got really funny because, of course, Carlos is asking everyone, do you think that Tiffany and Lewis have been very transparent? Everyone says, nope, they have not. And Kimmy asks about basically her getting fired from the chambers. Ooh, look at the face. The face looks like it could be true. Now, they're starting to say no, and I like that Carlos went straight and asked her straight up, so have you been fired? She said no, but Kimmy said she's had it on a very, very good source from someone who worked there that, yes, she has been fired. Anyway, so looking at the scene, to me, Tiffany did not look surprised at this accusation of being fired. Now, if you've just been hit with a curveball like that, you'd think you'd be like, wow, what are you talking about? Where have you heard this from? You'd kind of want to battle it, She her eyes just kind of dodged to the right and she was just like, no. So I just don't know. I'm not that convinced. I have to say, I don't know, this whole reunion has made me a little bit of a fan of Marcel in this, because why is he coming with all the lines? Where it's talking about, transparency. It's like, no, honesty is when you're being honest about something. Transparency means, I can see through you. Like, the guy is just hitting them with the lines. And it's very true. What can they say? That's why they're sitting there kind of looking stunned. Everyone is saying, they're going on about being transparent, but they're not. And of course, Martel jumping up again about no one's being transparent. You should just be quiet. We really know about you and your cheating, your foolishness. Just stay out of it. Marcel also made good points, though, because his bugbear to me is the fact that they're so opinionated on everyone's marriage, well, particularly theirs. And yet they've only been married for a year. Like he said, a year is not massive. As far as he's concerned, it's not no big commitment. You'd be embarrassed if you hadn't made it for a year. Destiny, like Kimmy said, you just made it to about 2, so don't feel too bad. Yeah, I feel like he made some very valid points on there and he kind of shut them down. The only comeback I say Lewis had was about the fact that there are certain things, glaring things that, Marcel will ignore that's in front of him, to do with Tisha, as we know. But the difference is that he's been married for a much longer time and he's not necessarily going around giving everyone advice like these guys are. They come in like some sort of couple counsellors trying to go around helping everyone. It's like, hello, you've just joined, you just got married, just take a chill pill. The man had me cracking up throughout the reunion. He's really reading them, like proper reading them, He wants them to get some more years underneath their belt. You must see what they come with all this knowledge that they come with. So he's really not having it. And then, of course, so when Tiffany's piping up about, well, everyone's got an opinion, just like everyone's got an asshole. I like that Marcel came back and said, well, don't share your asshole with me, basically. So, in other words, keep your opinion to yourself. He don't really want to know, okay? He don't want to know anything that's coming out of your backside. So, yeah, it didn't really go down too well, but I'd say, yeah, Marcel, you had me rolling. And can we just take a moment for the faces? I mean, seriously, it was so funny. Carlos, Destiny, Melody, everyone's faces when Marcel was going off was quite hilarious. I don't know how they did it. They done very well, particularly Carlos, because as a host, he has to hold it all together. I'm sure he must have wanted to crack up at certain points. Next week's episode is looking quite good. I cannot wait to see is it the final part of the reunion? I'm guessing it is the final part of the reunion, and it's looking quite interesting already based on the highlights, and even the ending one had me rolling with Miss Wonder in there talking to Melody's mum about Melody and telling her basically why would she listen to her? Like, it's her mother. What are we doing here? I cannot wait to see this. I also want to see why Tiffany is flaring up and getting so aggy with Destiny. And of course, we're going to see Tisha and Kimmy really get into some detail about their relationship. So yes, stay tuned. I will be recapping that one too. Let me know your thoughts and thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you. Yes, so thanks for watching that. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share, and hit that notification bell so you know when I am uploading some more of people's business. So until then, my nosy people, stay blessed.